Hey, how's it going? I'm Mikey. Gonna talk about some basketball stuff. Here is the great Sambino and Skittles, and Samwise here will be mediating for us today.
Right, and so on the menu for today, we are going to talk about whether or not the Cavs are real contenders, who's most likely to dethrone the Warriors, and we're going to round it off with some playoff predictions. So to get it started, Skittles, aka Scott,
Birth name Skittles.
Parents really love Skittles. They're pretty candies. The most important thing to them.
All right, are the Cavs real contenders or no?
The Cavs are always contenders as long as LeBron James is on their team. Always. Whatever team, if LeBron James, ends up in the disaster known as the New York Knicks, they're contenders. And whether or not they can beat the Warriors in a 7-game series, I wouldn't bet in favor of the Cavs, but I think he's always got the potential. LeBron has always got the potential, and I first saw it when he like single-handedly beat the Pistons.
That was like 10 years ago.
It was over 10 years ago, and that's the thing is he's always had that ability ever since he was in the first couple of years of his career. He's always been able to do that, and I think you just always have to consider him a contender. I'm not going to bet in his favor in this case, but he's got the potential.
Right. And so, I mean, on that topic, a lot of people say LeBron's getting old. He's having an excellent season. Is he going to burn out, though? Like, does he still have the young legs to keep... Can he carry his team that far into the playoffs? You know what I mean?
All right. I agree with Scott in the sense that, like, in the East, yeah, absolutely. Playoff LeBron, I think after the end of his career, he's going to be known as the best player of all time. Yeah. Obviously, people will still argue about it, but in my eyes, that's who I think of. He's someone that can do everything for you. I don't think they can compete with the Warriors in a 7-game series still. Playoff LeBron, I think even with he is getting older, but I mean he's still having a phenomenal season, and he doesn't get injured, and his game's yes, it's because he's super athletic and everything allows him to do a lot more. But he's also super smart. I feel like we still have another few, 3-4 years at least of amazing LeBron. But going back to the Cleveland question, I don't think that they can beat the Warriors, especially after this trade deadline. The biggest weakness the Cleveland Cavaliers had before was defense. And they added youth. Some of them, it could help them, but all those guys, statistically, their defensive box plus minus scores were all negative, except for Larry Nance, which surprised me. He was at 0.1 or something like that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he had a positive plus rating there.
This is Larry Nance reborn.
Yeah.
We're gonna see in Cleveland.
Yeah, he's wearing his dad's jersey now.
Yeah,
you see that?
It's
cool.
Think it's exciting for a lot of those new guys that join the Cleveland squad, and I agree. It's LeBron is just smarter. He's just a lot smarter than his opponents. I think it's harder for him every year. I mean, last year the only competition was the Celtics.
Right.
You could say the Raptors, but they still had a lot to
choke.
figure out.
I don't know if I'm high on the Raptors this year in the playoffs.
But this year I take the Raptors a lot more seriously than I have in the past, and the Cleveland's also got the Wizards somehow without John Wall creeping up behind them, and the Bucks they're always gonna surprise us with the youth that they have, the young players. So
right.
I don't know. I think the East is going to be a lot more fun this year to watch in the playoffs, and we just shouldn't be surprised if LeBron ends up in the finals competing against the Warriors and giving them a run for their money.
Right. Well, it sounds like there's one thing we can all agree on. Don't bet against LeBron James.
Yeah.
That guy can pull through for sure.
Yeah.
But what I did hear was maybe you're not so sure if the Cavs can pull it off against the Warriors. So, moving on to the next topic, who can dethrone the Warriors, or who's most likely to dethrone the Warriors?
I don't think anyone can. I think they're coasting right now, and they're underachieving, and they're still second in the West, barely. They're underachieving, and they're still terrifying.
Yeah.
So, and playoffs, all their stars are going to keep playing more. I really have nothing bad to say against the Warriors. I don't think anyone can beat them.
And that's the hard thing right now is because the Warriors don't look like the Warriors we've seen in the past couple years. And I've been watching the Warriors since Steph Curry's like rookie season, and he is probably the only player right now that I'm like, okay, you're playing. This isn't like Steph Curry carrying the team from before Kevin Durant, but this is like Steph Curry's playing his game. KD, Draymond, Klay Thompson, they're kind of just like low key making it game to game.
Yeah.
And what that does for me is I don't know what team we're going to see when they get to the Western Conference Finals and they're going up against James Harden and Chris Paul or whoever else. The Thunder, I think the Thunder are going to make a push. They've kind of figured out some of their quirks, but I choose the Rockets. I think if anyone's going to beat the Warriors, I think it's going when they get to the finals and they face the Cavaliers. I think they're going to be like, okay, we've been here before. This is our challenge. This is our legacy. We need to make this happen. But I think they could get caught off guard in the Western Conference Finals where they've coasted through the last few years, and the Rockets all of a sudden show them that they're not just a pushover.
Yeah, I think that's possible. But at the same time, I also think the Warriors already have a mindset like, been here, done that.
Yeah.
We know how to handle all these situations. So
yeah,
fair enough. I mean, so far this season, I mean, the Rockets, it's two out of 3 games they've beaten the Warriors so far this season.
yeah,
I mean, maybe they are just coasting, or maybe they're a real contender to take them down. I mean,
Rockets are great, but Mike D'Antoni, I could be mistaken here. He had a good run with Phoenix in the playoffs, and he had a good team there. But I don't know if his brand of basketball will always translate to success in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Warriors is established already. So if I was a betting man, which I slowly have been coming into,
it's a whole new world to enter.
It's bad. I just lost $5 already for this
Oh,
weekend.
dude.
$5.
Going downhill
Yeah.
That'll escalate quickly. So you might want to put a rope onto it.
Yeah.
But if you're a betting man, what was the final thought on that thought?
Oh, if I was a betting man, I would not bet against the Warriors in any 7-game series.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So who's most likely in your eyes to then take them down? I mean, you're saying nobody, you can't bet against them, but if you had to, I mean, who are you going to take?
All right.
They could be facing the Nuggets in the first round. You never know.
You never know.
Jokic in the first round could just shock the world.
Nuggets match up kind of well with them. They've beat them twice this year, but
could be a first round.
Houston, I think would probably have the best chance. Houston, I think Oklahoma City also, because they are kind of up and down throughout the season, but I think they like in a playoff series, Oklahoma City will be scary.
I actually think that if the Warriors don't snap out of it, if they don't turn on their jet engines soon, any round of the playoffs, maybe not the first round because they'd probably be matching up with, and we'll get to that later with the playoff predictions, but maybe not the first round, but I think second round and on, they'll be facing some really tough competition, and they can't fall asleep in those from second round and on.
Right, they're the team to beat. I mean, everybody's bringing their A game against the Warriors. Like, everyone wants to take them down. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough one, I think, for them, especially this season.
I'm excited for the playoffs. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
It's going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an exciting year, and I mean that kind of takes us into the next topic, right? Playoff predictions. Mikey,
who do I got?
I mean, we can pull up our lists.
I got my list. Give me a moment.
We're hoping the list will show up. We'll have the technology where the viewers will see the list.
This is the year 2018. We should have that technology.
We should be able to do that. We'll see.
All right. So in the East, I got Toronto, Boston, Cleveland at 3. All right. So I think Toronto's again. I think I've mentioned this before. Toronto's
bench is as good as their starters.
They do. They have the best bench in the league. They're so good. But in the playoffs, all right, the last 2 years, Kyle Lowry struggled, and he's a big part about their team. So I don't
But as
They'll make it
seeding wise.
Seeding, I have it as number 1.
Yeah.
Boston at 2. I feel like Cleveland will still be at 3. Still have big enough gap between them and 4. So then I have Indiana, Milwaukee moving up to 5, Washington dropping down to 6, Philadelphia, and Miami. Though I'm high on Miami. They're my dark horse in the East. I could see them upsetting Toronto.
Okay.
That'd be exciting. Then in the West, I have Golden State overcoming because I have an easier schedule for the end of this year.
Yeah.
Houston 2. Then I have Minnesota at 3, though this could change because Jimmy Butler got hurt, and so it depends on the severity of that. He's a big part.
It's worth pointing out that the time of filming this is what's today? February
24th.
24th. So
Thank you, intern.
The intern pulling through. Unpaid, but highest unpaid intern
Yeah.
there ever was.
What? Yeah, I didn't think so. So I got Minnesota at 3. If Jimmy Butler's still healthy. If not, they'll be lower. San Antonio dropping to 4. Oklahoma City at 5, just because they're a playoff team, not a regular season team. Denver at 6. Portland at 7. New Orleans at 8. I think they're still going to stay in. Because I thought they would slide faster after DeMarcus, but they haven't. They've kind of been staying steady.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are my predictions.
Those are some good predictions. I like it. I think I disagree in the West a little bit, but I think we should listen to what Scott has to say. I think Scott's predictions are a little more in line with my own predictions. So
here's my list. So I also have. So we'll start with the East.
Yeah.
East. I have the Raptors, Celtics, Cavs, Wizards, Bucks, Pacers, 76ers, Heat. I think the only thing where we differ is
placement of Washington.
Well, Pacers too.
Where'd you have the Pacers?
I have the Pacers at 6. So.
Ooh, I'm high on the Pacers. I
I'm
love
high on the
Oladipo.
Wizards right now. This Wizards team that's playing
You're
without
always
John
high
Wall.
Yeah, but can you?
They're playing better
Like
without John
they're
Wall.
playing better without him.
And that's what I'm saying is like.
So like, are they gonna be keeping that up
Worse
with
when he
him?
comes
Yeah.
back.
Like, what's gonna happen when he's
think
back?
I think they're going to rely a lot less on him. I think this will be one of those experiences where they're like, okay, we have an offense that works.
There you go. All right. Now we can sit.
It's a good stretch.
Yeah.
John Wall.
The Wizards, without John Wall, have proven themselves competitive. They just beat the Cavs the other night, and that was a good game. LeBron was at his best, and the Wizards really pulled it off. So I'm just saying they've proven that they are capable of surprising us, because they did surprise us when John Wall sat down.
Okay.
So I just think the Wizards. And honestly, I've always loved the Wizards. I think Bradley Beal, Otto Porter, love them.
Yeah, I like Otto Porter. I also love. I've always liked their jerseys. I love
Gortat. You gotta love Gortat.
Oh yeah, the Polish Hammer.
Oh. Such a love.
I miss Gilbert Arenas. I actually started hating LeBron because of he kept beating Gilbert Arenas in the playoffs. So
maybe he was the career ender. LeBron,
yeah.
The career ender.
Yeah.
So maybe this season, the Wizards compete a little bit.
Yeah.
Make the finals.
It's not out of the question.
Let's not get crazy.
So that's my East. Nothing too exciting. The West, I differ in. I have Golden State for the same reason. I think Golden State, with their easy schedule, something that if you look at their past season, they've beaten every team they should beat. Well,
yeah.
They should beat every team, but a lot of their losses are from playoff contenders. So and with the easiness of their schedule, I just think they're going to
Yeah, they're barely behind Houston right now. They're gonna pass them up.
And I mean, Houston has some playoff games. They play against some playoff contenders.
Yeah.
So, I have the Warriors as number 1. I have Houston number 2. I have the Thunder as number 3. I have them as number 3 for the reason, and this is adding the Timberwolves. Not sure with Jimmy out. I'm not sure how that's going to affect them. I think the Spurs are going to struggle the last few games just because they do have a tougher schedule. I have no idea what's going on there with Kawhi.
No one does.
He's gotten the green light. he's still saying, I'm not ready. They're getting all these other medical opinions. I don't understand what's going on. I think that's going to affect the rest of the team looking for the playoffs. Because I think a lot of them thought, okay, let's do well, let's succeed. Kawhi will come back and we'll contend. And I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to affect the whole roster. So I have Golden State, Houston, the Thunder, the Timberwolves. I have the Spurs at number 5. I have Denver behind them, but I think that could switch. I think the Spurs could free fall. I mean, free fall in the Western Conference playoffs is not that far of a drop.
That's actually true, yeah.
These teams are so close together. But I think Denver could be 5. But I have them at 6. I have the Trailblazers at 7, just after beating the Jazz last night. And I have the Jazz at number 8. I think the West, all those spots are you could swap them anyway, and it wouldn't be too unimaginable. The West is going to be
it's wide open.
It's wide open. The last few games of this season, the last probably 5 games for each team are going to be just as good as the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then the playoffs are going to be so much fun. So I can't wait. I think this is a very good season.
Right. So that being said, do you have some predictions as far as the Western Conference Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals? Who you expect to be playing in those games? Because, I mean, just getting to the playoffs is one thing, but how a team plays in the playoffs and who they're going to be playing against is going to be, I mean, that's a big
It's going to be Golden State and Houston and Boston and Cleveland.
I like that. I'd like to watch those games.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Never mind.
Yeah, that's as good as my guess. I don't know. I think if I were going to change that, if I had to change that, I would
throw Washington in there.
I would Washington Jazz Finals. It's going to be
Washington Jazz
matchup of a lifetime. No, I would switch out the Celtics for the Raptors. I think the Raptors. I like them. I think their depth is really going to help them in the playoffs. But yeah, I like that as well.
Right.
So.
I mean, who doesn't want to watch James Harden against the Warriors, and who doesn't want to watch Kyrie versus LeBron? I mean, come on, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. That's it.
Thanks for coming.
HoopsChat.
Who's chat? HoopsChat.
HoopsChat.
That's a wrap on episode 1.
That's a wrap on episode 1.
Lots of episodes coming.
Yep.
We're gonna have 4 a day.